Nandamuri Balakrishna, NBK, the god of masses, as his title card in the film celebrates him, is a unique hero in the pantheon of Indian cinema. The masses have come to expect one thing from this god: everything in excess. From his dialogues to his over-the-top action sequences, NBK's style is unmistakable. I hope I'm not wrong in saying that for years, the mass masala treatment in his films, including his costumes and dancing, was the subject of mockery, especially outside the Telugu-speaking regions. However, with the rise of the Jai Balaya phenomenon, which was also a result of his collaboration with director Boyapati Srinu, NBK's films have evolved into a template for mass entertainers. His previous film, Bhagwant Kesari, directed by Anil Ravipudi, remains one of my personal favorites because it struck the perfect balance between mass appeal and masala moments. So, naturally, my question going into this film was, can director Bobby Kolli with Daaku Maharaj surpass NBK, Nelakonda Bhagwant Kesari? Hi, I'm Kairam Vaashi and this is The Hollywood Reporter, India. Daaku Maharaj follows the well-established blueprint for an NBK film, which often includes a double action role or at least a flashback. Here, NBK's role comes with 4 shades. Sitaram, a civil engineer; Nanaji, a young girl's protector; Daaku, a dacoit for the oppressors; and Maharaaj for the oppressed. NBK must be holding some sort of a record for the most double action or multiple shade roles in films. Someone please check. As with many of his films, his initial identity is a false one. After he defeats the first major villain, a flashback unfolds to reveal his true identity. His initial identity here is that of a car driver for a young girl from an affluent family in Madanpalli. The girl's life is in danger. After NBK defeats the first major villain to protect her, a flashback unfolds explaining why the civil engineer became a Daaku and the connection that drives him to save this young girl. Returning from the flashback, we get the final showdown between the hero and the villain, Bobby Deol in this case, and that's the NBK film template I'm talking about. What stands out in Daaku Maharaj is the cinematography by Vijay Kartik Kannan, known for his work in Doctor and Jailer, both directed by Nelson. The film's visuals, from the shadowy woods to the vast arid lands of Chambal, perfectly match the mainstream audience's tastes. The color grading and camera work are striking, with impressive shots like framing NBK's face against a headless statue or using a leaf in the foreground to reveal larger visuals. Avinash Kolla's production design too is impressive. The Bajrangpur huts to the grand marble palace add to both the narrative and the sense of grandeur on screen. Thaman's score is another major strength of the film. While some of the music may remind you of Anirudh's work in Jailer, especially with tracks like the controversial Dabidi Dibidi, the soundtrack does a brilliant job in further elevating the high and deepening the tender moments, much like NBK's performance. One aspect that cannot be overlooked in NBK's performances is dialogue delivery. For those unfamiliar with his work, or who may not have a high opinion of him, I urge you to pay attention to how he delivers his lines. His intonation, his conviction, whether in his fiery moments or in the more tender scenes, serve as a masterclass for any actor. Lines like, "I did masters in murders," are delivered with conviction few can match. For those of us who have watched NBK's iconic dialogues from Simha or Legend repeatedly, this is what draws us to his films. But is that enough? While the film isn't boring, it often feels like an exercise in waiting for the next grand hero moment, whether it's a punch dialogue or a dramatic action scene. In Bhagwant Kesari, the hero's purpose was integral to the narrative. Here, the purpose feels secondary, mainly fueling NBK's elevations. Some of the film's plot points are clearly manipulative, especially when it comes to the depiction of extreme violence against women and children. Naming Pragya Jaiswal's character Kaveri after her role in helping bring water to a village, or featuring women in action sequences, doesn't justify the unnecessary and exploitative camera gaze on Urvashi Rautela. Much like in Lokesh Kanagaraj's Vikram, the idea of agents and Kamal Hassan boiling milk and filling a feeding bottle mid-fight is also present here, but it falls short of having the same impact. The film also includes many familiar faces in supporting roles, but most of them don't bring anything new or memorable to the table. There's a twist towards the climax that is unfortunately quite predictable. Overall, Daaku Maharaj is exactly what you would expect from an NBK film. Familiar, loud, and intense. It's a film where the audience can guess the next scene with accuracy, but that doesn't stop the thrill of the ride. NBK's larger-than-life persona, the striking visuals, and the apt background score make the film watchable despite its predictability. For fans of Balakrishna, Daaku Maharaj will provide the same high-energy spectacle that they crave for. For others, it's an opportunity to experience the world of mass entertainment that NBK has perfected over the years. For more such reviews, subscribe to The Hollywood Reporter India.